Well, yes, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Golf Rules Questions podcast. My name's Roscoe, your co-host, sitting virtually on site, virtually alongside, my apologies, Blakey, for another episode. Blakey, what episode are we up to now? What's this, season 2, episode
30?
Well done, and congratulations for making it to the 30 small milestone, and celebrate your small milestones. A little bit late this week. It's been a busy week in the world of golf, golf media, golf podcastery, and the Golf Rules Questions podcast isn't exempt from any of those goings on. We've both been pretty busy, and it's great to resume here later in the week. But there's been plenty going on, Blakey. What's caught your eye?
Yeah, it certainly feels like a bit of a holiday since we've recorded last Tuesday a week ago. So, yeah, I've sort of been hanging out for it, but at the same time as you have been super busy. But a little bit of a rundown of stuff going on at the Genesis Invitational, and then they've already started the WGC Mexico, right? And so there was a really cool incident. Actually, I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to the rules and sort of wait for rulings to happen, like situations that I want to see.
Hold on, can I back over that?
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to the rules, and you wait for situations to happen so you can see them. You know what, when you say that, well, yes, of course, everyone knows who's listening. They've worked that out, that you are a bit of a nerd when it comes to the rules of golf. That's why we're doing this. But I get this picture of you in front of the computer with your Foxtel and all that sort of thing, just waiting, like my Jack Russell, one of them out there, waits to pounce on the birds that dare sneak on the backyard. He just waits she actually waits in waiting for something to happen. That's you, isn't it?
Yeah, I get a little bit bored when it's always embedded ball, which we have one of those today, but embedded ball or dropping from a cart path. I want to see some of the stuff that we, hardly ever get to see. Like Hudson Swafford hitting a divot into a ball, and then Justin Rose doing it on the same weekend. Stuff like that. So we've got one of those, which you never thought that you'd see, and we get to see it. So I'm pretty happy about that one.
Well, very good. So, of course, we've got the regular segments. We've got the Golf Rules Question of the Week. We've got the one to answer from last week.
Good one.
Some video content to review. We've got one of the IVOR police. It's a new IVOR policeman has been in action and given us a rundown, a dossier, more like it, on IVORs that pretty much I've been responsible for, going back to episode 6. I'm quite keen to listen to my charge sheet of IVORs. If you don't know what IVORs are, it's in sort of celebration of the great orator Ivor Robson, who was one of the announcers from the UK, Scotsman. Used to
on the European tour.
Used to announce all of the players to the Open, so it's quite famous. But Ivor, one of the listeners, was very early on picking us up on mispronunciations and enunciations and all of the like. So we've dedicated it to the IVORs. I believe I've got a bit of a rap sheet to answer to. We've got our background bingos, and then we'll finish off with this week's Golf Rules Question of the Week. So back to answering last week's Golf Rules Question of the Week. No one was offended or commented inappropriate on my pretty average, to be honest, attempt at a Scottish accent. It is my first accent, but obviously very long time ago since I spoke in a Scottish accent as a wee child, and before it got sort of teased out of me going to school here in Australia. But last week's Golf Rules Question of the Week, I'll remind everyone, are you permitted to watch a video on YouTube, say it George Gankas or Me&My Golf or any one of the great golf coaches that exist online, and what a growing space that is. If you want to go to online and look at YouTube and learn, you can learn about the golf rules by going to Blakey's Golf Rules Questions YouTube site. What a wonderful resource. Can you look at this swing tippery during a round to obtain swing tips?
Yeah, so really interesting answer, actually. A lot of people would say no. Surely you can't do that. But the rules, Rule 4.3A, 3 and 4, only restrict information gathered during the round. So, if you're looking at your swing during the round and trying to see how you can fix it because someone's videoed it. That would not be permitted. But watching video that's been produced prior to the round, there is no issue. Apart from the fact that don't delay play. So if you're delaying play, yeah, there's going to be an issue then. But provided you're not delaying play, you can actually do that.
So if you've got 1,001 of your own swing videos on your own personal Instagram at ross.flanagan.golf, are you saying that if you've got one there that you really didn't mind looking at yourself in, pretty hard to pick for me which one of the 1,000, you can look at your own swing video and just sort of get a bit of self-analysis if you've produced it beforehand. Is that right?
Yeah, so you can watch your own swing. I'm not sure how that's going to help you, but it might give you some triggers. But it's kind of like the same thing that you've written down: turn early in the swing, or have the hands high, or widen your stance. It'd be exactly the same thing.
So you quite often come across one of your playing partners who might have a little pocket notebook that's got their yardages and got some other things written in there. So it's okay to have that type of self-referencing tuition in your little notebook.
Yep.
I can imagine. Can you make notes? We're going away from the video for a moment, but can you make notes during the round? Could you write stuff down and say, "Oh, Ross, after the 6th hole, don't forget to turn." Can you do that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Writing notes is okay, but so if you're a fan of Andy Proudman and Piers from Me&My Golf, you subscribe to their tuition. You can go on there and look at the How to Break 90 video, look at the favorite tip on there because you've just 3-putted the 5th green, and you can look at that.
Yeah, I mean, you could go on there and type in YouTube how not to 3-putt, and then you watch the video. But is that really going to stop your 3-putting?
Well, firstly, it's actually surprised me that you can actually do that, and I'm sure, as you alluded to, it surprised yourself and surprised a number of people that you can actually do that. Secondly, if you are Googling stuff on the course about that, how to not 3-putt, can I suggest that you jump over to Insight Golf Academy, the Mental Mastery Golf podcast, and get some real sort of mental tuition on golf performance, because that will help you more than looking at videos during the round. That will only confuse you and throw you even further off kilter. Do all of that preparatory work beforehand is my recommendation. Very well, very good question, Blake Meister, and very well answered.
Thank you.
You can't delay play unreasonably. So what are we going to now? We're going to do some video review.
Yeah, so I think we've got 3 or 4 there from the tour situations.
Okay, so which one would you like to see first, young man?
Let's probably go the embedded ball with Patrick Cantplay.
Can do that one. Coming at you right now.
It's pretty plugged in. That's broke to the ground for sure.
Yes, it is.
He's seriously taking it.
Well, these faces, they can disappear on you. Not that. Thank you. You get a club length from the point right behind the pitch mark. You can drop it. Obviously, it's probably not going to stay, but we got to try.
And then what happens? Here you go. I can clean it, yes.
Yes. And we got to find the nearest place that will stay at rest after 2 drops.
So, what happens then? Like, let's say it doesn't stay in any of those places and it keeps falling
You're
back.
going to drop, it rolls back in the bunker, you drop again.
Yeah.
And you're going to place it where the second one landed. And if it won't stay put by just placing it, you can't press it down in there at all.
Correct.
Then we're going to go to the nearest place, not in the bunker,
Not closer to the hole.
not closer to the hole, where it will stay at rest. That's going to be the whole process.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
All right. Can I get a club light, please, Ray?
So we've spoken about that at length pretty much since the whole Patrick Reed issue blew up, and even beforehand. So once again, it pops its head up on tour. I'm sure Patrick may have probably known, but if you look at that on face value, he still didn't even know exactly how to handle that situation.
Yeah, let's just roll through this really quickly, like give it only a minute, just because I think we've covered embedded ball. This will be like 3 of the 4 weeks in a row or something like that. So basically the main thing I wanted to talk about here is obviously he didn't move it till the referee got there. And then because this has happened, the whole embedded ball thing with Patrick Reed, the referees are a little bit on edge. You know, the players are sort of a little bit, you know, they know about it. It'll be talked about in the locker room about, oh, what it really is an embedded ball and all that kind of thing. So anyway, it was definitely embedded. It was fairly plugged. The referee comes in. Yep, that's sweet. But the main part about this was it was on such a steep slope that they were foreseeing that the ball would drop and roll into the bunker. He did that. It dropped, rolled into the bunker. The second time dropped, rolled into the bunker. Oh, sorry. The second time he dropped, rolled in the bunker, but that was an incorrect drop because he'd actually dropped it outside the relief area. So that didn't count. So then the second time, or the redrop, the correct redrop, hit the relief area, rolled into the bunker. Patrick went to place it where it first hit the ground, and it actually stayed first time. And then it was just a case of being really careful around the ball. Otherwise, if he caused it to move, he would have to replace it for a penalty of 1. Or if he didn't cause, and we saw that, you know, last week, Maverick McNeely and Russell Knox, if he didn't cause it to move and it rolled into the bunker on its own volition, he would have to play it from the bunker. So I think that's done. We're all sweet. Any things that I missed out there, Roscoe?
Well, no, not since we've covered them substantially. So I think in your catalogue of information, you just, if anyone has a question about embedded balls, just refer them to all of these episodes. Okay.
It was a little bit annoying that he took so long, but then that's why I call him Can't Play Fast. Patrick can't play fast.
Yes, well, as I said, the bunker faces there are grown into the sand, so there's not a hard edge like we used to hear. It's sort of like the sand belt, and they are sort of lipped over there. So you can see why he might have been a bit slow and wanted to be careful and all that sort of thing. But I thought Riviera came up a treat. Talked about it on the My Love of Golf podcast. You know, it's not an overly long course. It's situated inside, you know, LA, so that, you know, lands a premium, but played firm and fast, and it caught a few people out. And you know, it was great to see young Cam Smith up there, finish 4th. And no, it's a good event at a great course, and you know, it just shows that quality golf can exist on shorter, tighter, firm and fast courses. So yeah, it was good to see. Now, which one?
Yeah, go straight into the weather one, which actually delayed play at the Genesis Invitational.
If you saw some of the footage there from the practice range where the guys were trying to ham it up a bit, but just to demonstrate the point where they were, you know, lobbing wedges into the air, and the wind and the balls were blowing backwards. It was pretty much hitting straight up into there, and the balls were blowing backwards. You know, we've all played and win, but that did look very, very dramatic.
That was quite funny. Cam Smith and John Rahm were doing that.
That's Jordan Spieth as well. Let's go to this one.
And obviously, whenever we're over there, we talk about the green speeds being much slower just because of this. Here, you don't expect it. I mean, yes, we have meteorologists, and we thought it would be windy today, but you don't expect it to be at the point where the balls are going to move on the greens, and they're much faster greens here. This was right before they blew
let's have a bit of. Oh, so his hat goes first and the ball first. But he obviously had marked it, so technically owns that spot. But
the winner here a couple of years ago.
But how can you remember the spot if you've walked away from it? So that's a huge guess now, isn't it?
Yeah. So just a little short clip there, Roscoe. Nick Faldo talking about an incident with JB Holmes's hat falling off. It nearly hit the ball. That would have been accidental movement anyway on the green, so no penalty. The ball then moved and basically just kept blowing and blew past the hole. As Nick pointed out, because JB had already marked it, it owned that spot, and the only way you'd get it off that spot is basically make a stroke at it or take an unplayable. So he'd just have to replace the ball. And yeah, I mean, he was standing there with a 15-foot shot, 15-foot putt. Suddenly the ball's 15 foot the other way. How does he then estimate where the ball actually was? Estimate, you know, it's have a good guess. If suddenly you're 14 foot or 16 foot, that's, you know, that's whatever your best guess was. On the PGA Tour, the best idea for the guys would be to ask ShotLink, and ShotLink would say, well, you were this far away. So, you know, bang, done. It's no guesstimate there. It's just absolutely spot on. But, you know, for you or I, if we're playing in those conditions, yeah, and the ball blew away and we have to replace it, just a case of estimating.
There's usually something you find, and not that I've had in a long time a ball blow away, certainly in the current times, but you can usually, if your ball gets hit by another ball and you have to replace it, you know, you've usually got some little reference point, and it's just a knack that you develop as a golfer, being able to sort of judge where you have to replace that ball. And it usually comes pretty quickly. And as long as you get, you know, your playing partners to verify it or agree, or just out of etiquette, just ask them, do you think it was here, here, or here? And, you know, you usually get some form of consensus that everyone's pretty happy with. If you are unsure, you can usually reference it pretty good. JB Holmes, probably one of the slowest players. He must have been excruciatingly slow in the wind. You remember JB Holmes at the Portrush Open a couple of years ago, being chastised for his slow play in the final groups.
Yeah, well, they said that he won Riviera or Genesis, whatever it was, 2 years ago, and he was so slow then. I think Adam Scott was up there in the mix, or well, Adam Scott won last year, but Adam Scott was up there in the mix, or someone else, Australian, was up there in the mix, and JB was just painfully slow. There was another incident in that video, which was on YouTube, which Keegan Bradley had a putt, and he putted it, and it sort of came off a ridge, and then the wind just took it and blew it down between two bunkers. So he's gone from putting to having to chip the ball back up to the hole.
So that stood. That was before play had been suspended, and he literally just putted off the green. And it really, you know, you would say it's very, very unfortunate. It was no fault of his. It just kept running, and once it got on the little bit of a downslope and the wind took it, it just blew, and it ended up double the distance and a pretty tough chip. Once it's pennant season in Melbourne, and I think in Sydney as well, but certainly pennant season kicked off for Vic Metro last week. The only time when we've been suspended by wind was at Mornington, which is not Vic Metro, it's Peninsula District Pennant, but we were the home team, and we were off first, so we had a home ground advantage, playing one of our sort of nemesis clubs at Mornington. You know, I got drawn against the guy that I wanted to draw, and we had won our match. So we hadn't won our match. We were like one match away from winning, but the match was still on the course, and then all of the rest of the pennant matches were on the course. They were obviously following us, and the official of the day was our club captain, I believe. The balls on the 7th were blowing off the green. So the 7th's pretty exposed to the wind coming up from the south at Mornington. So, you know, it's on a peak, and the balls were blowing off the green, and he called the whole day off, and we were like 2 shots away from winning against our arch rivals, and our own captain called it off. So he was probably duly chastised by us, but, you know, it was an example where the rules prevailed, and, you know, there was no advantage given by the captain of the home team in that example. But yeah, it was pretty bad, but we were like two strokes of the ball, and he blew the hooter, and we were finished, and that was it. And I think the match was, I can't remember what happened with that match, but it might have been the whole day was like tied or halved or whatever, that sort of thing. Have you ever come across that, Blakey, in pennant, or any of your other refereeing experiences?
Yeah, I think I was out at Sanctuary Lakes once when there were some balls moving on that 15th green, I think it was. And yeah, it got called off. Play was suspended. I think the same day someone else, you know, another team was out at Settlers Run, and they suspended play there. And then, you know, there were other clubs, courses that they didn't suspend play. So, you know, with some, like all the divisions play at the same course on the same day. All the clubs in the same division play on the same course on the same day. So, you know, it's easy to cancel one round for one division on that course, because everyone in that division gets a tie or whatever. Whereas, yeah, if you keep playing at a really more sheltered course, you can, call it off or not call it off, and it's going to be fine. It's not going to affect anyone else.
It was just an interesting experience to get so close to beating a team and then to have the hooter go.
Yeah, that sucks.
Two putts away from winning, but he did the right thing. Nonetheless, okay, let's keep rolling on. What do we got to next, Blakey? Which one would you like to go to? We've got
the Dustin Johnson one.
Okay, this is an interesting little scenario. Let's play that one up for us.
What is that thing in front of it?
That is it's a waste can tied into a bunch of the cables. It's
Okay.
almost, actually, it's like a utility box.
Yeah, Peter Dotchison, you can weigh in on this, please.
That's just some of the wires that the Safari cable and the internet around the golf course that's just movable.
Dottie Pepper with the no, it's a trash can. It's a utility box. It was a good analysis of what type of box it was there, but it was clearly some form of covered box. For those not watching the YouTube GolfRules Questions YouTube site, please subscribe if you haven't already. But if you don't watch it over there, it's a box with some cables running through it. And DJ just walked up and went bang, move.
Yeah, I loved it. It didn't have to call a referee in or anything. He just thought this is a movable obstruction, and it was. It's just a movable obstruction. Had cables in it, wires, and yeah, utility box, and bang. But it's an interesting one, If he couldn't move it, then they probably would have called it a TIO, a temporary immovable obstruction, which is more particular than an immovable obstruction because it's not normally on the course. It's temporary, just for that tournament. But they want to go away from those kind of temporary immovable obstructions. But if you've ever been to a PGA Tour event, they have the ShotLink cameras. There's 3 of them around the golf course. There's 3 of them around every green, and they are TIOs, so the players get relief away from them, including line of play, even though they're not on the green.
Cool. Well, DJ was obviously very knowledgeable on what he could do. It was good to see someone just be able to make a decision, make a call on it, seek the relevant reference, and just move it on rather than having to call someone across. Okay, are we moving on from that one?
Yeah. Let's go to Matty Wolff.
Matty Wolff. Now, is this the interesting one that you referred to in the opening stanza?
This is what I call GolfRules porn.
What? Okay, so we joked about you sitting there like, oh, talking about a dog, talking about my dogs waiting for something to land in the backyard. You sitting there in front of the computer or the TV waiting for something to happen. What happens when this happens? Do you just go into this frenzy of excitement? Or what?
Yeah, no, I absolutely, yeah. Well, it's funny because my girlfriend and I, Lena, actually created a video and we stuck it on TikTok about someone accidentally hitting the ball on the putting green. And yeah, so she accidentally hit it in her practice swing, and she said, "Oh, I've just caused my ball to move." And I said, "Yeah, that's fine. It was accidental. It's on the putting green. Just move it back, no penalty." And then Matty Wolff, PGA Tour pro, must have seen that on TikTok and thought, "Oh, I'll just do it."
All right. So Matty Wolff copied you and Lena.
Yeah, basically.
Did he have it on TikTok?
I mean, if he deliberately did it, then it's totally different. But somehow, subconsciously, he's accidentally done it.
So is that another social media GolfRules question thing that I've now got to, some way weave into the plugging?
No, don't. But you did ask whether I was on TikTok, and I told you yes. But I said that they're crazy. They are nuts. Like there's some, I get people that just don't even know golf.
So it's called,
and they comment and tell me that they know the rules.
So it's called TikTok, not TikTok.
Yeah, that's right. It's TikTok, not Tick. Shout out to Johnny Amos for that. Thank you.
Someone said that guy from the video needs to be on TikTok.
That's right. He's talking about Roscoe.
Referred to me as Scottish. I'm only a plastic Scot. By blood, but not by birth. But someone.
He said you need to get into more videos, so he's a big fan of yours.
Thank you very much, Johnny Amos. My love of golf sticker coming out to you. And did anyone email in for some stickers, Blakey?
Yeah. I'm got over my quota of 50 quite easily. So that was they'll be all coming out very soon.
I've already, if you're a My Love of Golf podcast guy and you've emailed in for those stickers, they've already gone out in the mail, Blakey, just to put you to show. G'day to Stuart out there in the eastern suburbs. Got his with a little signed card came out with to those guys, Blakey. And thank you to you, Stuart, for what you sent back. I really do appreciate it. A couple of other shout outs, if we can take a minute to shout out to your listeners, Blakey, that I had the opportunity to meet. Average Andy, big contributor to the podcast. He goes by the name of Average Andy. And when he came in, he said, I'm Andy on the podcast. I said, Average Andy. And his eyes lit up. It was great that he was referred to by his podcast pseudonym. And it was great to meet Average Andy and also Jimmy O, the big Jimmy O, the big O.
Big Offie. I actually played golf with Andy this week, and I videoed him hitting your driver. So the driver that he purchased from you, I've got him his first drive. He hit the fairway, so good start.
Okay, well, it's always a positive when you get the new big dog out there and you find the short stuff that just recommits you to your investment. And hopefully, I think, what did you get? Cleveland?
Yep, Cleveland.
Serves him well. Great value product, Cleveland. Okay, let's go to, is it Matty Wolff?
Let's get back onto this golf rules porn.
No, it was just good to shout out to some of the...
It was. But, the listeners are here to listen to golf rules rather than a shout out.
Anyone wants a shout out, just write in and get a sticker. There's more stickers where they came from. I'm sure you can get some more. Okay.
That's a good point.
Go to Matty Wolff.
Over the sixth. Oh my word. Now that would give you an idea of the sort of day Matthew Wolff is having. Just with his practice swing, just glances it with the toe. And that is offline.
Yeah, and under the new rules, David, there's no penalty for that.
No intent.
Yep, exactly. He will be able to replace the ball where it was since the position had been determined.
That's something you don't see every day.
To watch another European Tour video.
Thanks, Rory, for the outro there. But that was Matty Wolff just taking a practice stroke at his putt and just toe shanking the putt away from him. And David Ferrity, one of my favourites of all time. If you're old like me, David Ferrity's been part of your golfing commentary team and people that you look up to and enjoy listening to. And it's great to hear David Ferrity. But Blakey, back to you. Take it away. What happened?
Yeah, well, I was going to say exactly what you said. It's great to hear David Ferrity back on the airwaves. So we need more of him. So if Matty Wolff, as you heard from the under the new rules, it was no intention to make a stroke at the ball. It was the player accidentally causing the ball to move, but luckily the ball was on the putting green. If the player had been a meter back, or the player's ball had been a meter back and off the green, it would have been a one-stroke penalty, and the ball would have been required to be replaced. But because he was on the putting green, the ball still needs to be replaced, but there's no penalty. So that's under 9.4b, exception 3.
9.4b, exception 3. Right. 9.4 and exception 3 down in your notebook next to your swing tips when you're referencing them out in the course. You might need that one.
Just don't practice so close to the ball. I've actually seen another of that friendship group of Andy, Offie, and another of my friends, Byron. He's actually done this at Box Hill on the 8th hole. I've seen him do that. I mean, I just don't understand why people practice swing so close to the ball.
Oh, well, it wasn't the first time. It won't be the last time, but there you go. If you do after marking your ball, practice putt and hit the ball, then you are entitled to replace it with that penalty. Correct?
Yes, on the putting green. Yep.
9.4b, exception 3. Okay. Now, we're doing background bingos from last week?
Yes. Yes.
Did
Your Andy Miller was back on it and killed it again.
Okay. Did he research Google? Did he research my Instagram to get mine? What did he do?
Yeah, he did. He said your Instagram was very helpful. So he got, where was it? Yagara or something? What was it?
Yakgara is its name, Yakgara or Garra. Now, Yakgara is an interesting story. It's a private course. It's a golf course. It consists of 6 greens, and in each green has 2 pin positions. And ostensibly, it was built by someone who wanted their own golf course. The husband and the son wanted their own golf course, and the family's mother wanted her own native garden. So they were able to combine the two. Obviously, have the wherewithal to be able to do such a thing and keep it in such pristine condition. I've had the opportunity to play it, and it's like nothing you've ever seen.
Is it?
It's in the greater confines of Victoria. It is someone's private residence, so I'll leave it at that. You can see it on Instagram. It's not private in that sense, but it is a phenomenal experience to rock up to someone's front door and then walk through into the backyard, and then little tees and little fairways and narrow openings through trees and bushes and greens and pins down there in the distance, and not overly long, but there were certainly some holes that are driver and sort of wedges and driver and sand wedges, and a lot of par 3s, and you basically play 12 as many holes as you want, and you just play from different angles to different greens, and it was such a fun experience to do it. But yes, that was Yakgara, and you can find that on my Instagram at ross.flanagan.golf. And yours was?
Kalgoorlie.
Yeah, Kalgoorlie, obviously, WA.
Which is in WA. And Andrew thought that was a little bit hard, but I thought it was, the contrast of the green fairways and the red dust of Western Australia. I thought you wouldn't find that too many places around the world.
Okay, so if you are tuning in at YouTube, you can see our backgrounds today. Mine's a little bit obscure, but there is a definite giveaway in there if you look closely. If you want to look closely, there's a definite giveaway in there, which should give you a fair indication of where this is. That's all I'll say on that.
It looks a lot greener than what I would have remembered.
No, the course is in fabulous condition.
May you have played there recently?
Doesn't matter if I have or I haven't. I'm an active member of one of Australia's top 100 golf panels. I've got to play everywhere, David, and that's just on the trail.
Okay, no, I just because it does. I know which one it is, but it represents other holes in another part of the world, doesn't it?
David, don't give. We make it too easy every week. Don't give it away.
And well, my one.
I'm trying to go a bit obscure here. Yours is very obscure. You've got farm on one side and golf course on the other.
Yeah, so there's out of bounds on that side, and then you can kind of see the green down there with actually a really nice bunkering designed by Graham Peter Wilson.
It does look fantastic. Just even at a distance, it does look like a very nicely guarded green complex with some very well designed and placed bunkers. It looks great.
Yeah, it's and I was I actually may have recently played there as well, and very what's the word? Commendable? No, very positive, very encouraging about the greens. They were awesome greens. So it's very close to. Oh, that'll give it away. How do I say it? I'm just going to say it anyway. It's very close to Eagle Point Bay.
Okay, so as part of the country run, the 3,000 plus subscribers
yeah,
commitment to country golf. So it definitely was part of a country run, and you did do another country run this week. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I'm doing a country run.
You are
in a week, and I did also break the bad news to you that I will break my Tassie golf Barnbougle virginity without you, Dave. I'm sorry.
I think my brother's down there at the moment. He actually played Barnbougle and Lost Farm. I think he's been down there 3 times, and I have not been there once, and I'm the golfer.
Well, just to fill everyone in, just for another little bit of behind the scenes, Dave and I sort of made a loose commitment to each other that we should go down there together. And it didn't take too much convincing when someone called me the other week and said, look, the borders look like they're going to be open. I've got a spot in this group. It's you're in. And I said yes. Dave wasn't part of the traveling party. So, Dave, we will go back down there.
Yeah, I need to get friends like that.
Not like me.
not like Andy Average.
There wasn't any question of, is there another spot for Blakey? That was clearly I was the fourth invite. I was the fourth invite. Don't worry, I wasn't the first. I was the fourth invite, Blakey. Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Actually, I'm going to shout out to Average Andy. We need to go down to King Island. So,
okay, I'll follow the plan.
That'd be good. Right,
we'll swim across there to get there if that's what it took. But because it looks fantastic. Anyway. That's background bingo for this week. And we move on. Ivors, are you going to run off the rap sheet quickly?
Yeah, well, you've got one. So you want to go with your one first?
Just tell me. Someone else has picked me on it, so you tell me what I've done.
It was David Grieve. He picked you that you were saying withering. When we wither on, because just like we talked with our background bingo for about 7 minutes, we tend to just talk about a lot of fluff.
Some of the feedback we got from one of the listeners, what you're referring to there is wittering. We stopped enough wittering, you two, get to the point. So said we were withering. Probably could argue that we were withering. You know, the conversation was dying and we were sort of fluffing around. It was withering, but we were wittering on. So yeah, I'm guilty. And then what else?
In episode 7, you used the word contributant rather than contributor.
Put that one in the Macquarie Dictionary, contributant.
I don't mind that actually, but yeah, that's not correct. And in episode 6, you used the word levitating when talking about my information on the rules of golf. We presume you meant elevating.
I'm going to review the video for that and just see what I did actually say, because to levitate a situation is one of my favorite all-time phrases. I probably overuse that to the hilt. I do love using the word levitate, and I'm pretty confident that I didn't misuse it, but I'll accept that as an Ivor if that's the case, but I will refer to the judges.
Well, I got called for one. In episode 8, you said, we were talking about the scenario of a woman tour player. It was probably Charlie Hull, to declare the intended provisional ball as a provisional. So it became the ball in play once struck. You put Roscoe on the spot and asked what that meant for the status of the original ball. Roscoe replied, it was lost. And I said, yep, that's correct. But lost is not correct. After post 2019, it's just no longer in play. Lost, the only meaning for lost is when you've searched for your ball for 3 minutes and you can't find it. So that is what a lost ball means.
That's a serious Ivor, that one. That's related to the rules. Mine's just related to bad grammar and language. Yeah,
that is true. That is true.
Okay, so we're going to do this week's Golf Rules question of the week and then wrap it up, Blakey.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Are you gonna talk about this one again?
Well, I seem to have taken the mantle of reading the Golf Rules question. I can't give the answers too well, but
since you used to work for Mercedes and you learnt German, Do you want to try and do it in a German accent?
No.
Damn it.
No, I don't mind doing the Scottish accent occasionally because it's a bit of fun, but it is an accent that I did once upon in my lifetime speak with. So I sort of hopefully wouldn't offend anyone. But if I did it in a German accent, that comedians. This is the thing. Comedians are allowed to do accents and that sort of thing, and it's okay. But sometimes if people just normal amateur podcasters like us, some people might find it offensive. But German is my second language. I can speak more German than any other language, but I would read it in German if we had German listeners. If you are in Deutschland, willkommen zum Podcast. Thanks for listening. But I can't speak enough German to read it in German, so I'll just go with my normal. What do you reckon?
Okay, the Golf Rules question of the week, episode 30.
Just to backtrack, sorry. I really want to do it in my best German accent because I do a wonderful accent.
I really think you should.
No, but I won't. We'll
if everyone wants, like, seriously wants Roscoe to do it in a German accent as much as I do, get onto this episode on YouTube and click the little thumbs up. If you click the thumbs up and we get 15 thumbs up, at least 15 thumbs up, Roscoe has to read the next Golf Rules question of the week in German accent. It's not in German. You're reading it in a German accent as English speaker.
Using my sort of analogy there, I can probably maybe get away with it being that I am intermediate level German speaker. But if you are in Germany listening and you need some rules, advice, information, and discussion, please hit up Blakey and write in German because he speaks a bit of German as well. He was intermediate sort of level there.
Meine Deutsche ist scheiße.
Oh, don't swear at me. Okay. After the player hits their ball into the green, it stops and comes to rest on the green. As the player is walking up to the green, suddenly the irrigation system turns on and water runs across the grass, down the green, and moves the ball. Wow. Does the ball need to be replaced, or is the player permitted to play it from where it is now at rest? Okay.
So was it moved by an irrigator or a sprinkler?
Well, it was moved by the water that came from a sprinkler, mate.
Right.
And the sprinkling of water is called irrigation. The irrigator, it's not an irrigator, it's a sprinkler.
So it's hit the green and then the water has rushed down the green, across the grass, hit the ball, moved the ball. Do you need to replace the ball or do you play it from its new position?
Interesting scenario, and that's one that's about to probably due to cause a bit of consternation. Blakey, well done. Anything else from you?
No, I'm all done.
Great work to end off the week. It's been a big week in golf. We do wish Tiger Woods a speedy recovery. It's very, very saddening and shattering to see what's happened to that man in that car crash, and wish him all the best from all golfers around the planet, I'm sure.
Actually, I do have one more thing. Certainly, Tiger, hopefully you get better quickly. Just hopefully you start walking as soon as you can, whether that's 6 months or 8 months, whatever, just as soon as you can. Also, I did put up a video which wasn't quite rulesy, but it was Lena and I playing Can We Make a Par? And it's gone a little bit away from the rules of golf, but it was fun. We played one of the longest par fives in Victoria, not quite the longest, but one of the longest. And I hit driver 3-wood. Most driver 3-woods that I hit would get pretty close to being on the green on a par 5. I still had about 115 meters in, so it was tough.
And nearly jarred it, by the way, for the third.
Yeah.
Just set yourself up for a bit of a head wobble there, but well done. That was a nice little finish to that hole. It was great to see Lena out there with you, and what a talent I think that the young lady has for the game. She's developed a wonderful swing, and I think we'd all like to see more of Lena playing golf and her development as a golfer, because
you know, it's a sport for everyone. And I know from what I do, we've seen a lot more girls coming into the store and buying sets just like the one that she's using, entry level sets. You know, for in the hundreds of dollars, you can get a set of golf clubs for your daughter, your girlfriend, your wife, whoever, and get them out there playing golf. And there's never been a better time to get out there and play golf. But yeah, it was great to see Lena out there, and I think she was really good on camera. Love to see more of her playing and her golf development.
Yeah, she enjoys playing golf, and we enjoy doing that together. And you know, that's right, Ross. You can get set for your wife and your girlfriend.
Well, yeah, we'll leave that at that. Good luck to all the Australians playing at the WGC, still called the WGC Mexico, although it's being played at the Concession Club in Florida. And
oh, right, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a bit too hard with COVID restrictions and bubbles and all that sort of thing to get everyone out of the country and back in and all that sort of thing. So it's at Florida at the Concession Club named after the great concession of Jack Nicklaus and Tony Jacklin at the early 70s Ryder Cup. Jack conceded and halved the thing. And good luck to the Aussies. There's a great number of Aussies playing in it. And after round one, Wade Ormsby, the big South Australian. I love Wade Ormsby. Played golf with Wade Ormsby once upon a time. And his brother stayed at my house, actually. Wade's brother stayed up at Cessnock at Mum and Dad's house after I left home. But yeah, we've got a connection there with the Ormsbys. And Pete Ormsby was one of the great retailers of golf. Wade's at -4. So keep it going, Wade. Good job.
Nice work.
All right, mate. That's it. We're done.
See you, Roscoe. See you, fans.
Okay, we'll see you next time on the Golf Rules Questions podcast. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.